So I just got back from checking in with how my body is going. I'm currently being pinch tested every single week on a structured program, watching what I eat meticulously. Like yesterday, I literally hit exact calories, and maybe that comes as a, of course, for some people, but when you're 35 years old and you haven't counted calories for many, many years, the last time I did it was like 21, 22 years old, to hit exactly is kind of funny. But what that means is checked in with my coach, did the pinch testing, and so I'll just read out some numbers. Show progress. So the first was the 17th of the 11th, where it was 91. Maybe I should try and I'll put some numbers up here. So body weight 91.6 down to 89.9, so 1.7 kilo drop, and this is a 2-week time frame. So 1.7 kilo drop, you may think that's a lot, but if you look at the lean mass and also fat mass, it ends up being quite productive. You wouldn't want a lot more than that, but as a starting point, dropping that 1.7 kilos when you haven't really dieted for a while it's not a cause for concern. Body fat started at 14.8 down to 13.6, so 1.2% drop in body fat, meaning my lean mass is at 77.7, which was 78, so a small drop in lean mass. And the caveat here is that last time I was measured in the afternoon, and this time I was being measured in the morning. And so depending on your food intake, salt intake, water intake, that would actually misconstrue what those numbers actually do, because when you're doing the pinch testing, it's not actually accounting for it's actually accounting for the fat, the millimeters of fat in between the skin and your actual muscle, not what's actually in your body. So if I drank a liter of water right before I did it, it would come across as I've got an extra 1 kilo of lean mass, when it's not necessarily the case. And that's what I love so much about the pinch testing, is because the pinches don't lie, the science doesn't lie. And yes, there may be small variances in terms of how someone actually does it, but what I was really looking for when I decided, you know what, I'm going to go hard with this thing, is someone who is a practitioner of science, someone who can test the hypothesis, let's try this and see what outcome we get with proven runs on the board and all that kind of stuff. But I want a consistent measuring system other than looking in the mirror or seeing how I feel, because those things can fluctuate. They fluctuate with the types of food that you eat, your mindset going in. This is talking about what you see in the mirror, your tan levels, the mirror, the lighting, where you stand, how close, how far. There's so much that mind fuckery that can play along with that style, which is, I guess, what I've relied on mostly, and I think what most people rely on. But I wanted to be scientific about this next phase. So really loving that so far. And that's really the main proponent of what this is. I'm super actually proud of myself, fully compliant for the last 2 weeks of the actual nutrition that's on a part of this plan. So I'm currently eating 2,487 calories per day, which is why I've seen a bit of a drop, which is awesome. My coach was thinking about taking that up a little bit, but decided that we'll leave it for another week and see where we're at. I wasn't particularly hungry over the last week, so that's a good sign. I'm looking good, a bit more, you can't really see it, but a bit more veiny, like in the shoulders and the arms. And most importantly, I'm feeling good. The main thing is I'm dealing with a couple of injuries, and I knew this coming in. So this year, it's crazy. So I'm 35 at the moment, and the big realization I'm having over the last, I would say, month, it's really dropped in. But I would say like the last 6 months, I had more injuries come to the surface this year than I've ever had in my entire life. And this is coming from someone who's lifted weights in some form of resistance training for the last 16 years. So just see all of those bad movement, if I'm truly honest with myself, like just bad movement patterns, or just not even bad, just non-optimal. If you think about the compounding effects of suboptimal form again and again and again and again, over time, it's just like the calcification over time, it's going to end up causing an issue. And that's basically, now in my 35th year of life, it's really, a lot of these injuries are coming to fruition and coming to the surface. So this year's been massive in terms of rebuilding and being able to really solidify the movement patterns in which I'm actually moving. And so I've got a really good physio at the moment. I've got this new style of coaching. And unfortunately, it was about 2 weeks ago, I was doing a deadlift and it didn't feel so good. And I'm so stupid because I got this new program. I'm all hyped about it. In the app it says, and this is my fault, but in the app it says, hit 8 reps for this weight. And I'd done the testing and everything looked really good in terms of my actual movement for a 1 rep max, which I did across all 3 big lifts. But then what happens is, and I was speaking to my physio about this, is you can be really good and mask the issues in a 1 rep max or a low rep max capacity. But what happens is, as you start to increase those reps, the room for error starts to increase because certain muscles get tired. And in my case, my brain can't recruit my central nervous system. I think, I'm not a scientist, but my central nervous system can't recruit. It's not telling the right muscles to work. So even though I picked the weight up, which is the goal of a deadlift, and this is where it happened, right? The goal is to pick the weight up, correct? But there's so many nuances inside of that, okay, pick the weight up correctly. And what happened in that instance is, to really perform a deadlift correctly, you've got to use specific muscles, and you want to try and maximize the recruitment of the muscles that are perfect for that motion, which is, I believe, like predominantly the glute and the hips, to then, and even the hamstrings. And obviously it's a whole body movement, and there's lots of different moving parts. That's why the deadlift is the king of the exercises. But to recruit all those and not utilize your lower back in terms of being the main driver. And so what happened is, reps 1, 2, and 3, I'm fine with. I've built the capacity, I've built the knowingness, and my brain can recruit the right muscles, the right weight to pick up a deadlift for 3 reps. Beyond that, what happens is it starts to get a little bit trickier. And so my phone's just ringing. I will not answer that. After those 3 reps, what ends up happening is it starts to fatigue. And what I ended up doing subconsciously, or not even really knowing about it, because my goal was just get the weight up, which is fine when you're 25 years old, bro. But I'm 35, and I know this. It's not like, oh, I'm 50, I'm 80. I'm not going down that track, because that's why I'm doing this. I want to document that you can still get in absolutely awesome shape when you are in your late 30s, early 40s, and beyond, because I've seen it. But the training style has to shift, and that is the big shift for me. Seeing and recognizing that I'm not 25 years old anymore, and that there are different ways that I need to be training, managing injuries, managing movement, sleep. I'm a dad. There's so many more variables now than when I was 25 years old, living with housemates, working at a gym, being able to work out whenever, eat whatever. I didn't really, because I had such a low maintenance number in terms of budget. I didn't have restrictions. I was making good money at the time for my needs. So I could just focus purely on training and recovery, and I could sleep for however long I wanted. I didn't, because I was just obsessed with hustling. But I could if I wanted to. And I've had some of the best programs. Literally, Charles Poliquin, one of, if not the best, in my opinion, the best strength coach in the entire world, wrote a strength program for me specifically. So I've had numerous coaches over the years who have designed strength programs for me, but I'm not 25 anymore, and that's the big shift, and it's just the reality. So I'm documenting this process because I want to show you that you can absolutely, 1, manage injuries, 2, still be a great family man, 3, still manage and build out a career, 4, still be able to do creative pursuits, hence this video, this awesome feature wall that I'm able to build behind myself, and 5, get in incredible shape. And so trying to combine those things is the current journey that I'm on. So if that is interesting, if you would also like to come along the journey, hopefully this can inspire you to not give. So I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. I'm going to check back in a week with this body transformation, reinventing the dad bod, and hopefully show you that I can continually make progress, even at 35 years old, grandpa over here, and still be able to do the things that I want to do. So I'm not sacrificing my entire life for this, but I do want to push the limits and see how far I can actually take this. Check it out.